Calling all nerds. This is More Than Dice, the podcast where we dive deep into the realms of everything nerdy. Whether you're a nerd culture connoisseur, a tabletop titan, a miniature gaming marveler, or just someone who proudly embraces their inner geek, this is the podcast for you. And now, let's get to the show.
There goes Nestor with his 3-streak week. Guys, welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm Nessie.
I'm Slade.
To episode 357, we invited Slade because anytime we want to talk about some RPG stuff that is going to be digging into the deep vault of RPGs, we asked Slade to come in because he has a plethora of knowledge. Plethora is my favorite word, by the way. It means a lot.
Like plethora.
It's a solid word choice.
No, it's a strong word.
Yeah. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about the good, the bad. Actually, we're not even going to talk about the good. We're talking about the bad, the ugly, and the what the fuck of RPGs. And pretty much what it is we're going to be talking about different RPGs that us as GMs have either done, played, or whatever. That we either had issues with, they were bad worlds, they were bad mechanics, something of that nature, or some that were just confusing, too complicated, etc., etc. And we'll distinguish that. But before we do that, we got to get to our notes and everything. We want to thank Eldritch Foundry for sponsoring the channel. Make sure you go check them out. Make your own D&D models, or Daggerheart models, or Pathfinder models, or any type of models you damn well want to. And have a good time with it. We also want to thank Turbo Dork for the supply of awesome metallic paints. They provide some really cool stuff. I know they have some new projects coming up soon. And I believe that they're going to be at PAX pretty soon.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
PAX Unplugged.
Yeah, PAX coming up, so you can go check them out. I think maybe the good old Miss Bree and Brian are going to be there. So you can go check them out. And as usual, people, you know, go check out all your local game stores. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're going to be buying something and it's local, go get it local. We have a lot of people that are running game stores and all this other stuff that they really need to, pay attention to that, and they need your money, especially if you're just like, oh, my local game store has this RPG book. I'm going to get it from Amazon. Just go down to your local game store and get it. And if you can, sometimes they can get it in just as quick possible. Call them first. We got a lot of local businesses that need our monies now. And sometimes it's probably pretty cheap. And sometimes cheaper depending on where you go. So the big question right now is, Slade, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Bunktoberfest.
Bunktoberfest? What the fuck is that?
And it's a local brewery up from Maine. And it's a really, really good Oktoberfest lager.
Gotcha.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, Mizzy gets the gag.
Nestor, what are you drinking tonight?
Water. I got to rehydrate from the weekend.
That's what happens when you go running marathons, since you're doing that now.
Mm-hmm.
Guilty. But the really good Philly cheesesteak. I did have a good Oktoberfest Friday night at the place I got the Philly cheesesteak. I can't remember the name of it, but it was really good. And of course, with a Philly cheesesteak with mushrooms, and it was just yum.
Sounds good. I haven't had good Philly cheesesteak. I'm gonna have to take a trip up to New York. You gonna, let me crash at your pad for like 4 or 5 months?
More like 4 or 5 days, but sure.
Yeah.
I got a couch. I got a couch. I'll get a blow up mattress. I don't care. You're good.
Yeah. I'm also doing the big H2O. I did some self-care this week, and I know I need to rehydrate. I've been drinking a lot of coffee, been working on a lot of things. Printed off a huge terrain piece for my Daggerheart campaign, and the Missy's in here, and I've already got with her. Our Velo the Lost characters are going to make another appearance in the in-person game this week, so they'll be in that. So Missy's possibly going to get everybody painted up, but we'll wait and see.
Nice.
Other than that, so definitely doing some good H2O today. This has been a pretty busy week for a lot of us. Getting a lot of things going. We have Warfare Weekend coming up. We have other things going on. I will be making an announcement this week about another new one-shot coming up. In a couple of weeks, I will be doing a one-shot for a group of people across the pond. And then we'll do the session 0 this month, and then the episode 1 in December. And then after that, I'll also be doing another one shot and session 0 in January for the next Varan world. So we'll just have to wait and see. Guys, as usual, please take care of yourself. Whether you need to take some time off, you need to go get a manicure, pedicure, you need to go get a massage, have a beer every once in a while. Please just go take care of yourself, and please look after each other. We're in some shitty times, and we got to make sure that we're looking after each other all the time. So please do that. Cheers.
Cheers.
I didn't see if we had any shout outs. Slade, do you have any shout outs this week, by the way?
Just my own, really.
Okay.
And our Wednesday night 5e homebrew campaign over on the Pyro Club.
Okay.
If you know Asmo, he's the GM, so that should tell you a little something.
Slade is becoming a good time regular on here when we talk about RPGs. For those who didn't know, Slade and Nestor and I are old souls when it comes to this stuff. And Slade and I always come around and we talk about old RPG stuff and anything that comes up game wise. So anytime I want to talk about RPGs, especially when it's going back in time or anything older, I always check in with Slade and see if he wants to come on. And of course, he's always willing because, talking about nerd stuff.
Nothing else to do. I'm just like, it's sad, really.
You could be playing, old school RPG games or all that other stuff. It's not like you don't have something to do.
I've got plenty to do.
Yep. So tonight we're going to talk about RPGs, the bad, the ugly, and the what the fuck. And it's going to be interesting because we really didn't talk to each other about what we were going to be bringing. We were just kind of talking about some. I did say a couple that I wanted to talk about. And Slade says he has like some special super secret one that he's going to talk about.
It's more hilarious than it's like, ooh, secret, but I want to make sure the response is genuine.
So the RPGs we want to talk about are going to be things that are either bad systems, bad environment, bad rules, or things that we think could be an issue with new players. Like, for example, if you're going to be switching over from D&D 5th edition to Champions or Palladium, there is going to be some issues there, type thing, for some people, especially if that's all they've ever done. So I'm going to go with my first one, and it's actually a system that I actually kind of like, but I'm also a GM, but I know it's really hard for a lot of other players, and a lot of people couldn't get to it, which was the Fate system. Fate has been adopted to many different things. The one I played in was just generic Fate, and then the the Dresden Files RPG, which used the same fate system. And a lot of people have a problems using those dice. For people who don't know, they are D6s with a plus, minus, or a blank on them. And then depending on what you roll, depends on how you act within the system. But it's a lot of interpretive you got to interpret the dice really well and kind of role play with it, and you got to get in the GM mindset. I think it's better as a GM player than would be as someone that's never GM'd. Have either one of y'all done the Fate system before?
Yeah.
No.
I will say right off the bat, I am an Evil Hats fanboy
Oh
in
yeah.
general. I love 90% of the stuff that they've ever done. Raw Fate, however, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. So you use you use fate points, kind of a currency, which great, perfect. A lot of systems use that, but it's very arbitrary on how to earn them. And as a player, you have expectations. GM, you have expectations. If they don't line up, it throws the story off a bit. And I'm also not a huge fan of mixing what I call fourth edition gridding into freeform RPGs. And the time I played Fate, there was almost like gridding that went on using the zones and everything else. It took you out of it. I was not a fan, and I haven't played much of it since. I went on to other things that they do.
That was one of the things that I think it's just a little too much for people, especially if you've been playing another system. It would be really hard to grab into it. But I think the interpretation and the way it does and the way it goes through is you got to be really committed to the system. And I think that's the problem. A lot of people don't have time to be committed to the system, no matter what it's in. But maybe they can. Y'all should just wait and see. But I'll have to do that. Slade, what's your first one that you want to talk
about? First one I want to talk about actually is one that I'm writing one in. The Cipher system.
Ooh, and they got a new edition coming out.
They do, and I'm looking forward to the new edition. I'm writing an RP. I don't want to get into the details of what I'm writing, but it's set in pseudo modern times, and Cipher lends itself fairly well to that. It was built as a sci-fi RPG engine. It is not something to learn quickly, however. And trying to work the mechanics around, I am massaging them more than I have had to do any place else to put together a game that I think people will enjoy jumping in and playing. And so that's one of them. But also, I also want to complain about a mechanic that is happening a lot lately that I don't know the solution for. Is what a friend of mine calls arbitrary initiative. And I'm gonna call out literally the only thing that I do not like about Daggerheart is it's a little bit on the spotlight system is focused, and I think I said this to you before, Gonzo, too, is if you have a couple of people and one of them is a main character player, it's hard for a lot of people to be able to feel they're participating when it hops back and forth and it becomes arbitrary. And then you have to step in as the game master or as another player and do that, and that breaks the flow of the mechanic. And I've been seeing that in a lot of different things where Fate can do that. Cypher can do that. Some others, but that's the thing is I want a player to feel like they are all participating in a game, whether it's in combat or in an investigation, things like that. And that's where I'm having trouble really moving things in the Cypher system to. It is an investigatory game that I'm doing, and that's the thing.
Yeah, I will go with this on you that in the people that like to scene steal with that system, you have to be a GM and you have to be able to go, hey, you got to hold on. We have in my in-person one, we have a player and she's great to be around. She's a great player. She's really fun. She likes to do stuff, but she constantly wants to do. And we had to implement the bead system to keep it, kind of, you have 3 beads, you use a bead, you got to wait till everybody else, and that, that way it gets it a little around. Because, and the thing is, and she's not trying to, steal the scene. She just wants to do a lot of stuff and have a good time doing it. But yeah, that was the biggest complaint I've heard from people is scene stealing. And so the GM has to take a little bit of more of an active role to make sure everybody else is doing stuff.
But a good GM should not be afraid to.
Oh yeah,
To put a stab at it, right? I get it, right? Like the classic initiative is to prevent that. And if you have players like that, then stick to the classic initiative.
Right.
If you try out Daggerheart and you got one player after keeps scene stealing, after you talk to them and whatever, then just go back to go back to regular initiative or find some way to prevent that from happening.
And the tricky part of Cypher though is it's all player. It's one of those types of systems. The GM isn't actually doing anything except responding. There's no dice involved. It's only a reaction. I'm simplifying. Don't come at me in the comments. But it's a GM reaction system.
Right.
And it's real hard sometimes, unless you're really on top of everything, to pull those things together.
Yeah.
And I have a bias. I want to be able. I rate a game as good as if I can play it at a con quickly, have people pick it up and run it, or I can bring in new people. And if I have 4 or 5 people, I want them to all be able to enjoy it by session 2. And that's tricky with some systems.
Yeah.
But how about you?
It's my second game system that I played, but I have to say the Palladium system is not the easiest system to play with. It's easy to create characters. They have this concept of skills are from 0% to 98% because no one's perfect. So, if you want to cook and you want your character to cook, you roll a cooking skill on a percentage. And if your cooking is a 70% and you make it under, you're really good. If you go over, then you fail. And they kind of simplify it. So it left me as a game master to tweak how they fail, right? By percentage. So if they failed by 5%, 10%, whatever, I can increase or decrease the story. But it was attacks per melee, and it's throughout all their entire Palladium systems. So it can go from the standard Palladium fantasy game all the way to Rifts, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I don't even know if they still print anymore. I don't think they do.
They did a reprinting of Turtles just recently.
Turtles was the best game, in my opinion, of the Palladium system. But I got tired of how many attacks per melee do your characters have? And then, you only have 4? And then if you wanted to dodge, it would take an attack. So you would lose attacks if you wanted to dodge. And it got very it was simple yet complicated. It's like, okay, you got strike, parry, dodge, roll, pull a punch, save versus coma. It got like all these numbers, and I got really quick in memorizing and doing numbers like this way. But if you're not a good mathematician, you don't care, right? You're not that type of player. So for new players, not fun. It is not no. So to this day, while I like the storyline or riffs, I like the whole concept, the whole lore for it, I will not play that game again.
One of
you got,
them.
Gonzo?
So there's one of them, and it's a universal system, and I played it, and I liked the world, and I liked the way it was done. And it's a diceless system for the most part. And you use a deck of cards. The deck of cards, the GM uses the deck of cards, and it's the Savage World system. I played in a Hellfrost campaign that was fun, and I liked the Hellfrost world, but having the GM lay out the cards, just kind of took away my anonymity on it. I wanted to be able to roll the dice or, do whatever. And the GM flipped the cards over to figure out what happened. And yeah, you have a little bit of tweaking you can do on that, but I want to roll. I want the fate in my hands, type thing. And so it was kind of a bummer. I love the world of Hellfrost. It's also Deadlands, I think, is also part of this,
Yes.
that uses that. And it's not bad, and it's not, and the mechanics were fine. But it was, I didn't get to, roll. I didn't get to pull my own cards or, that type of thing on that. I mean, I had some cards to play with, but not enough to, to feel like I was in charge with my character, best way to say. So I guess have you tried this out before?
So I have. I absolutely 100% understand what you're saying. The funny thing is, when I played it, there was a dealing. It wasn't the GM flipping the cards. So you were dealt cards. We played a sci-fi variant. I don't remember what the name of it was. This was years ago. And he would deal out 3 cards. You keep them face down, and you pick one of the 3 at any given time. So you flip that, it goes back into a discard pile. He sends you a new one off of the raw deck. I liked that approach more than what you're saying. And I think that I've also seen one done at a con where each player had a deck, and which I know the rules as written say there's one deck and you get dealt from it. I kind of liked this for a con, though. I thought that was kind of a neat way of doing it instead of saving the time. But no, I agree. Savage Worlds, the beauty of Savage Worlds is super easy for a new person to pick up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Super easy. The card system takes away. This could be conditioning. I could be conditioned to make sure I have the clicky clack of math rocks. Which is why even when I'm using a VTT, I make sure I have the sound on.
Oh, do you?
For the dice. Yeah, I want to hear that noise. But it does take away some of that, and I get that. Yeah. For sure.
And like I said, I had fun with the Hellfrost system. I had fun with every Savage Worlds that I played in. I did a little bit of Deadlands, not a lot, just like a couple of one shots. But I miss rolling the dice. I miss having the fate in my hands and not the fate in the the cards that are dealt type thing. So it was just kind of weird and off the wall for me. Slade, what you got?
So PAX East about 2 years ago. I went and I sat down at there's a big tabletop area at the back end of the hall, and there's a lot of open play stuff. So you can go in and you can sit down at a table, or people and say, "Hey, you want to come over and try this?" So I did, and I went and I sat down. Now, this was possibly the most disappointing RPG system I've ever played, because I am a child of the '80s. I was those were my teen formative years when I was most susceptible to shitty marketing ploys, and I was very much into the GI Joe stuff. There is a GI Joe TTRPG. You think, okay, cool, you want to jump in, you're gonna be fighting Cobra, you want to be Hawk, you want to be whatever. The setup for it was crazy. He had some pre-gens, which was nice, but even trying to read the pre-gen sheet was insane. And I have to pull up. I made a couple of notes because I have the book. I ended up with the book. So you have an origin, you have a starting essence, you have influences, you have roles, and then you have the skills once you've gotten all of those things together. So you are basically creating a backstory on your character sheet before you can even get into stats, and then perks on top of that are kind of crazy. It's convoluted. It was really hard to get into, and I'm like, this is a cool branded. I had played the Transformers one. It was goofy, it was dumb, but it was fun. This one was it took me out of it because it puts so much in front of you to try and figure out and interpret. And I'm at a con, going back to my con thing. I want to learn the game and play it and enjoy my Yo Joe. It just it didn't pull me in. I had a lot of, even during the gameplay, had a lot of trouble staying involved in it. And if you're going to have something branded like that, make it so people want to jump in and play it.
Yeah, it should be easy and quick.
It doesn't scale out. It also doesn't scale out. It's not one of the ones that, okay, if you have to take time to learn it, you want to play a campaign, it doesn't scale well for that.
Yeah, you gotta, especially if you're doing it at a convention, you need to have it where it's they can jump right in and get to go and figure out the system very quickly.
Yeah, the intro game should be the one that they give, which is for free or part of their starter box, and that's like you should be able to do each step, and by the end of the game, know how to play the game.
Yeah, and so it was done by Renegade Games, and they generally do some pretty good stuff. The Essence engine, though, and I don't know enough to be able to dive into the engine of it, but the games I've played in it, it's hard to jump in sometimes.
Which is funny because they have G.I. Joe, they have Transformers, they have My Little Pony, they have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Power Rangers one is fun.
Right.
It's fun.
My Little Pony is fine. I ran my daughter and two of her friends in My Little Pony. And but it's simple yet fun. And you can bring all those worlds together.
Yeah.
Even. So I don't know what happened with G.I. Joe.
I think honestly, because it was made as a toy, and you wanted everybody to buy each of the individual figures. There were
right. I forgot about
80, 90 different characters. Everybody has their favorite that they want to try and play. And then on the bad guys, you have the same thing. There's a million different Cobras. I think that's what happened, is they jumped into an overly elaborate universe and tried to shoehorn it in a way that let that flexibility in, and it just didn't work.
Which they should have done what they did with Transformers, which was you build your Transformer, you choose, you roll to see what it becomes,
Mhm.
and that's it. That's your character.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you can choose to be a car, but then you get to choose what car you're going to be or what plane you're going to
Mhm.
be, whatever. But it's simple. It's like, oh, you transform to a car. Okay, cool.
Yep.
What does your car transform into? Oh, I transform into a Porsche because I'm that, I love jazz, but you're
Yeah.
not jazz,
Yep. Yeah,
I
and
guess they,
that was real simple, exactly like you said. This is you have these 5 different things that can you build your character around. I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, cool. But now I'll tag you, Nessie.
so I was just looking because you mentioned card games, but the Malifaux Through the Breach RPG also used a deck of cards. So the players did have a deck of cards that they could cheat in, but that was it. Whatever your deck was, whatever card you cheated in for that game, that was it. You could not reshuffle. If you have 5 cards and you used all 5 cards in the first hour of the game, and the game master's running 3 hour game, you get nothing, right? But the it was same premise, the game master had his deck and he flipped that out in the open, and it's in the second edition, but it is very complicated for new players to pick up off the top. I had a hard time understanding it. I love the lore, but it hits differently when you can love the lore, but you get really disheartened reading the role playing game for it.
Mhm.
I don't know if either of you guys have ever seen the Through the Breach.
Yeah, I know what you're
I've
talking about.
I've seen it, and yeah, I watched a little bit of a playthrough on YouTube.
Yeah,
But that's about it. I haven't played it myself.
yeah. I played 2 games with it, and it did not captivate me to say, "Oh my god, I want to play this. I want to run this. I want to keep doing this." It was just like, no, pass. What about you, Gonzo? How many more you got left? Because I know you must have a list.
Oh, I have a huge list. So one of the ones that it's if you're gonna play this game, you know what you're getting into, because it's coming up and you know what's gonna happen, and so you always have characters on backups of characters. But I can't get into Call of Cthulhu because I could look at something and immediately go insane and my character's gone. And that's just kind of a I wouldn't say bad play experience, but if you're going to play Call of Cthulhu, you know what you're going to get into, and your character
Yeah.
could, go insane just by looking at something. And it's kind of if I were going to run it, I would loosen that up a little bit, and like let you, break slowly instead of immediately go insane type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because literally you could die in the first like 10 minutes of the game if you read something wrong or whatever is the GM proves. Now the GM's got to, manipulate it, mold it, and get it done in that aspect. But that's a mechanic I really don't like. And it goes back, and we actually kind of discussed this before we got in, is games that your characters die while they're being created. Traveler.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of irks the crap out of me too. Why I get all the way in and your character's dead in creation? How does that happen?
And it's a popular system.
Oh yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
hugely popular. But I'm like, I don't understand that.
One thing I've noticed about that though is it's hugely popular. A lot of that popularity is um, our demographic, the
Mm-hmm.
old school players who yearn for the days of THACO, and your mage is going to be lucky if you make it to second level. Keep a few extra backups. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think that's where that comes in. And uh, I've never enjoyed that particular aspect of it. Um, I know a lot of people that do. Great, fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
characters that can die too quickly or die super super quick due to reading a line in a text or
yeah.
character creation death. Ooh, no.
Yeah.
If I were going to run a Travelers, that would have been I would. You can't die during character creation. That's DUM dumb.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are games like X-Crawl and things like that where you going in you need a stable because the odds are you're going to die.
Correct. Yes.
But you know that going in, like if you're playing Tomb of Annihilation, going in, you have at best a 30% chance of surviving the entire game. That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've never actually played Call of Cthulhu. I don't enjoy watching it, and I usually like watching real plays.
Yeah.
It's just it.
But that was just something that I that's a mechanic I don't like is character deaths that are way too easy and character death in creation. I'm just like, no, that's just something I just can't get into. And I own Call of Cthulhu because it's a cool book and it's a cool RPG and it's neat.
Yeah.
And it's creepy and so on and so forth. But there's something about quick deaths like that just kind of irk me. Now, like I said, if I were to run it, I would change up a little bit of the system to change that up. It's not something I would run anyway for the most part because it's not really my wheelhouse, but I own the RPG because it's cool. So,
there's a Fate one too. There's a Fate Cthulhu game.
Yeah.
That kind of the same idea, which is a bummer. Because it's such a good universe. Speaking of this is the one that I'm gonna get I'm gonna catch flack for. I played this system twice. I loved the video games in this system. I absolutely enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to one that's coming out soon. But playing as an RPG, Vampire the Masquerade loses me. Just loses me.
Which edition?
So, see, this is how much I really didn't enjoy it. Is I don't know because I stopped following the books and the edition releases.
That makes sense.
So when I first played this, it was probably around. So I played it twice. Excuse me, once around 2007-ish, and then again about 6 years ago in a stream.
I think that's still White Wolf.
No,
probably.
6 years would probably be the new system. But the one before that was probably the White Wolf version.
White Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just again, I actually enjoy watching some of the real plays on it too, but it just loses me as a game. I couldn't even point to like a mechanic for it, but I can't put myself into it, and I can't try and connect the dots on how the system works.
Mm-hmm.
It just loses me. And it's just, and I love playing evil. I love playing dark. This one just doesn't work for me. The politics, the intrigue, cool, but I'm bored.
I know a lot of people that you got to be one in the right mindset to play vampire.
Yeah.
Two,
Yeah.
you got to play with a certain type of group of people that want to be
Also
vampires.
true.
Which probably was part of my problem too,
Yeah.
maybe, but
Because if you can't be in that, and it also depends on what type of vampire that your guys are, your storytellers create. Are you doing the political intrigue, backstabbing vampire
Yeah.
game?
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing the romantic sex type version of it? Or are you playing the vampires versus other supernaturals type thing?
The one I played was more of the political intrigue, but also stopping something that's happening in the city. I don't even remember exactly. It was like a BBEG of some other supernatural force.
Yeah.
But you had to have all the factions and cool.
Yeah, it's And it also depends on the game master if he or she are really gonna throw that type of concept. When I played Vampire the Masquerade, we were, a mix of vampires, and looking for it was more like Indiana Jones with vampires,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Looking for certain uh artifacts that would help increase the strength of Volturi, of our the leader of the coven or the leader of the pack. And there are times that we had to fight other vampires. There were times we had to fight hunters. So he threw in a lot of the different books from White Wolf, witches and such. So like we had fun with it,
Okay.
but that takes a it's not for you're right. It's not for everybody because when he first started, I was bored. I was like, why am I sitting here like a Republican or a Democrat? Like I'm sitting here and I'm voting what we should do. And I just want to go and smash shit. That's the type of character I created.
Right.
And he's like, just give me time. He's like, let me cook. I was like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I've played in multiple vampire games. One of my first ones was Camarilla versus Sabbath. And that was it. And you did have some political intrigue between the Camarilla people, but the main thing is the Sabbath were attacking the city, and you had to fend them off, and so there was a decent amount of combat in that. And then there was the other one that was the political intrigue, romancing, sexifying the game, and I noped out of that pretty damn quickly because it was boring.
I blame the TV show.
Yeah, that TV show was
The
not
TV
good.
show hyped it up. It hyped me up for it, and then I was completely let down when I finally did play it.
And I've run a vampire game, and it was a mix, but you had to be careful, and it just kind of fell through. I did run a World of Darkness game where everybody could play any creature from the World of Darkness.
Mhm.
Yep.
Because we were stopping the apocalypse type thing, and so we had someone that was a werewolf, someone was a vampire, somebody was a mage, that type of thing. And that turned okay because it was a limited run. It was like, hey guys, we're gonna play maybe 5 or 6 sessions to see if you can do this. The one I do like out of the White Wolf type of genre is the Changeling, which is the Fey version of, and they haven't remade it yet. Pretty much, you're a Fey creature that is escaping the Fey realms and having to run and hide and all this other stuff away from all the other ones. Which was, I liked that one a lot more than Vampire. And the other one, I can't remember. It's the Oblivion, which was about ghosts, and that one was okay. But I liked Changeling more than Vampire because I liked the Fey aspect of everything. I think you would probably like that. You would probably like Changeling over Vampire because you got all the courts and you're a Fey creature trying to escape the Fey realms and not get drugged back into it and such. The system's not bad. I mean, it's you count your dots, you roll that many D10s, and you get 6 or higher, and then depending on how many successes you get, depends on whatever it is. It's kind of very simplified system.
Yeah.
But the target numbers are, mostly by the GM, or unless you got an ability that says you need 3 successes or whatever like that. But yeah, Vampire is that really weird one because if you get a GM that wants to do like the combat or the working together type thing, like I can see an Indiana Jones one, an Indiana Jones style, that would be kind of neat. But if you get someone that just wants to do the political intrigue and heavy role play and the romancing one, you're going to cut out quite a few of the clans, because some of the clans are meant to be kicking people's asses.
Yeah.
Type stuff.
The Nosferatu are not the pretty ones, right? Like
Nope.
you're not doing the the Phantom of the Opera type storyline where they're Nosferatu's completely seducing XYZ. Like, no, it's not working. They are ugly. Whoever they turns ugly.
Yeah.
The
Bruja, the punks.
Yeah, the Bruja. I love, that's what I had was a Bruja. The assassins, I forgot the assassins' names.
Assamites.
Assamites. Yes, love the backstory on them, right? And but yeah, if you really liked White Wolf, I loved Hunter the Vigil because I ran it like Supernatural.
Yeah, yeah. I could see Slade doing. I could see you like in because you're just a normal human, and like one
Yes,
vampire would fuck everybody up.
fuck you up, you know. But that's the thing. You have skills. You have traps.
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah.
So when I ran Hunter the Vigil, which I loved because I was a big Supernatural fan, and anyone who's playing with me was also a Supernatural fan. So that's the way they ran their characters. They ran them as they were hunters. As they were hunting, they would stop monsters and they would get to demons, and yeah, they would die because that's they'd get to vampires and they would die. So it's a fun system. It's just you're right. Vampire the Masquerade is one of those. It's just hit or miss.
Yeah.
I think.
I did. I loved Bloodlines when it first came out on PC. I picked it up,
Oh yeah,
and I loved the game. It was so much fun. So I'm like, yeah, shit, I'm gonna try the RPG. No, thanks. See ya.
Somebody not too long ago said they came. I think it was probably Jake. Said or somebody says they came into the store and they're like, we really like D&D, but it's kind of boring. And the guy goes, well, what's your gaming group? He goes, well, it's 2 girls, a gay guy, and another girl that's kind of butch, and they like a lot of political intrigue and a lot of sexiness. He goes, here, vampire.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, here's the perfect game for you then.
Yeah, I was there with like thirsty sword lesbians until you said political intrigue. Like, nope, vampire. There you go.
Yeah. Type thing. Nestor, you got one?
Oh man, I'm probably gonna age myself on this one. So the Dark Heresy, the first one by it was Black Site Industries, or it was Fantasy Flight Games took it over, and then Black Industries wrote it before then. But the Dark Heresy books which were 40K based, I blame those books for sparking my interest in the 40K universe. First off, I want to say that right now. That role playing game series was like, oh my god, I love this lore. I must know more, and that's the end of it. That's how I got here. But it was D10s. You could die by just getting sucked into the warp or flying through the ship through the warp. It was like you could have a really fun game, and then somebody does something stupid which the game master has no control over, and that is it. The warp demons come in. Next thing you know, you're fighting corn berserkers on your ship because they went through the warp without you knowing about it. You have psionic energy. Black ships are after you. Like, it was a fun system, but then at the same time, not easy to learn. So unless again you like the lore, cool, have fun with it. Don't blame me when you start playing Warhammer 40,000. Um, because that's how it was Dark Heresy. They did ones for the Space Marines. What's the ones for the oh my god, the ones that kills the Xenos, the ones that kill
Black
the
Templars
Xenos.
or Grey Knights?
Oh yeah.
But Grey Knights, you could play a Grey Knight in Dark Heresy. You could play a Battle Sister. You could have played a lot of different 40K characters, but they're human. Except for the Grey Knight, everybody was human. So you see how like everyone's like, oh, I want to play Space Marines. No, you're not playing a Grey Knight because everybody knows once you play a Grey Knight, everybody has to play a Grey Knight because he's going to be the overpowered character.
Oh yeah.
But then you had a black, it's not bad. I'm never gonna knock it. It's a lot of fun, but it's ugly. Like it's overpowered in some things. I think they made a second edition. I don't know.
They did.
I lost I lost track of it. But the first edition, while an awesome book, I'm glad they made a second edition. I'm hoping it got rebalanced in the second edition.
Yeah, if you were going to play Dark Heresy, you really couldn't have one person be a Space Marine and everybody else be like guardsmen
No.
or whatever, because the Space Marine will walk around and goes, I don't need these 7 guys. I'm equivalent to 50
No,
of these
that's
guys.
that is exactly correct.
And if I were going to play it and I was going to run it, I would make everybody. What's the one? Death Watch. Yeah, I would do the
Yes,
Death Watch
that was
version.
it. That was it. I did the Death Watch version. The players had fun, but it was a one-shot thing. It was like,
Yeah.
I need to split this. I want them to have a little fun going with their bolt guns, and like they killed Xenos, and that was it. It was
Yeah.
all they did. They played Tyranids against Tyranids. One guy got still killed, but yeah, it was fun. Dark Heresy. I'm glad they made a second edition, but it wasn't. It was very ugly.
Yeah, you can get everybody would need to play. If one person want to play Space Marine, you got to have everybody play. And I
Yeah,
would
and at that
definitely
point,
do the Death
Death
Company.
Watch.
Yeah, Death Watch.
Mhm.
One of them that I wanted to talk about is, and it's gonna be. They're actually making a newer edition, and this world, Slade. If you can get a copy of it, I suggest you get a copy of it. You'll love the world, and you'll love the lore and everything behind it. But the system is overcomplicated, and we were building characters, and while we were building the characters, I could see my players struggling, and I canceled it. I was like, you all can't handle this. It's way above y'all, and it's got too much to it, so on and so forth, because it's got a card system behind it. But it's the world Blackbirds. Blackbirds is a gothic fantasy RPG where you have to, you've got oligarchs that you're actually part of. You're doing things for these higher powers and such, and it's got a card system that you lay down cards to see what you have and what abilities you can do, and it's neat, but it is way too complicated for what it needs to be. um it's sad because the world is freaking amazing, and the system is just way too much for people. You got to have some people that are very into this and can get very into it, but definitely nobody that's like kind of new to RPGs, nobody that's kind of, you know can't get this big uh card mechanic that the way everything's done. But lore wise, amazing lore, amazing story, amazing characters, everything. But it was just way too complicated, and I really really had that. I know that they're trying to make another edition, and maybe they'll tone it down. But I highly recommend it. If you're a GM, go get the book, because the book is really cool. The system, not great, but the lore and everything else behind it, super freaking good.
So you say card mechanic, like the Savage World cards,
No,
or more
it's
like the card for players?
it's
Like
card for players.
skills.
It's not kind of like skills, but it's like you got to slot them into slots
Okay,
and
okay.
get them into certain areas, and it's just a little too complicated. And
Mhm.
my players, they played D&D. We did do another system with them that they kind of liked, and it was all right, but they couldn't get into it. There was this group was kind of flaky. To begin with, it was always, this isn't working for us. And you could tell that they were not getting into it, and people weren't showing up a lot. And so I was trying whatever I could to get them, and I tried Blackbirds, and like I said, story wise, lore wise, amazing. System, a little too complicated.
Okay. Yeah, somebody told me recently about Blackbirds because they were painting some minis a friend had designed for it, and I will hop all in on Gothic minis.
Yeah.
I almost dropped $300 at ReaperCon one time before the Better Sense got a hold of me, because there was this, I don't remember the name of it, but there was this really cool Gothic game system that I would never play, but damn, those minis were sweet. Yeah, I can, that sounds, when you have something that's kind of rules heavy but weird, like, yeah, I can see that being a thing. But yeah, I'll probably get the book. I probably will.
I think you'll like the book and you'll like the lore, but you'll be looking at the system. You're like, yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the type of thing. I have this is I have a tablet and I have a whole bunch of drive-through PDFs on it, and
Guilty.
that will be the casual waiting room reading type of thing that I will do, or when I'm on the plane. I have trouble reading novels and things like that on a plane, but game books and things like that, not a problem.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I feel bad about this one that I'm going to bring up because it is in development. And I want to be fair to the person that because I think it's a beautiful system. I think it's a gorgeous concept. And the name of the game is called Draconim. Draconim is basically a fantasy world where the heroes bond with a dragon. Not in the sense of Pern, where you have the dragon riders and things like that. This is more of think of more of the fey creature that you bond with and develop over time, and skills and help boost you and things like that. Wonderful, wonderful concept. It's a great concept. I did a real play. It was once we got a hold of how to do it though. And to this person, the developer's credit, they took our advice and they are coming out with a new edition of this soon. But there are 6 attributes for the players. Now, it's one of the ones where you have a standard array and they all have to add up to, I think, grand total of 7 or something like that. That type of array where you slot values in and go for there for the start. We had to jump around through the book to find out what the standard array was. And we found out it was in what looked like the name, the title for an image. There was a table, and usually where it says table 42C, attributes and that was actually the array line. And when you're pulling something together like that, coming up with the ability, and they have really cool races with some really cool backgrounds. Actually, I think they call them species kin, because I played a rodent, because they have this rodent race. It was a lot of fun, but getting into there and trying to find the stuff, your group are veteran gamers, we're all veterans. When it took us 2 sessions to figure out how to make our characters, and this is something that I'm seeing in a lot of these, and I do want to make sure I'm qualifying this with, as it stands right now, it is a really hard system to get into. But it's a wonderful concept. Keep your eyes out for it. But right now, wait for the 2nd edition. Wait for the next version to come out.
I saw that and I was like, maybe I'll get in and do the Kickstarter, because I was like, I like the concept. The concept was cool.
Yeah.
Concept was really neat. And then I started seeing some people that are beta testing it and testing the rules out, and they were like, yeah, this is not going to work.
Yeah. The other part of it too is, if you've ever played the video game Enshrouded, or and Skyrim had a little bit of this, where you make a web of skills and you follow paths and you can pull things in and you want to get to a certain path. This has that kind of a system as well, but it's awkward. And there are 2 levels, and you know how 4th edition had the hero classes. It tries to wrap that into there. It's trying to do too much, and I'm seeing this in a bunch of different games, and I want this one to succeed. I really do. But that was the one. I'm not gonna play it again until the next edition comes out, because it's just man, it was brutal getting into it.
Mhm.
And it's a pool. It's also a dice pool game, which can be a lot of fun. Like the Fallout dice pool, I enjoy the hell out
Yeah.
of. And this could be really good. Again, though, overcomplicating, putting too many steps in interpreting your array. Ugh, it's hard.
Nestor, you got one?
I got my last one, and I'm gonna say it because it needs to be said. Dungeons and Dragons 4th edition.
I wasn't going to. I had that on my list, and I wasn't going to just because I felt like that. A, it was a little too low hanging. B, you
No,
can have the torches and pitchforks now.
yeah, no, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. If you wanted to play World of Warcraft as a role playing game, Dungeons and Dragons 4th edition was perfectly fine. But it was the first game system that kind of felt required to build your character online instead of doing the pencil and paper, right? Like if I want to build Daggerheart, I could build my Daggerheart character on pencil and paper. I can build my Pathfinder character
Mm-hmm.
first or second edition on pencil and paper. Beats whatever. That D&D 5th edition, 5.5 if you want to call it. Um Aliens, I could just name a whole bunch of different
Oh, sure.
RPGs. Pencil and paper. But 5th edition, you had to go on their website. I mean 4th edition, you had to go on their website. You had to do it step by step because when it printed out the character sheet, it then printed out the 7 to 10 other pages that had your abilities that felt like you were hitting number 5 to get your whirlwind blade attack, which you could only do once per encounter, or once per session, or once per level. It was it was fun when I first started, and then slowly it felt that it was more about playing a smash button video game than it was about playing the story. And I was so happy when 5th edition came out because I immediately dropped whatever 4th edition game I was running and I said, "We're restarting, we're doing 5th edition. I'm sorry." Like I didn't even care. I didn't
There's a
care about finishing the story.
yeah, there's a lot of people that were with that fourth edition was here's WoW in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It yeah, and
I
it's low hanging fruit, but it needed to be said.
I stopped playing RPGs for a while when my sons were born. Scroll Keeper. A lot of folks in the community know Scroll Keeper. Was born extremely premature, so there was a lot of health things going on, and it was a lot of work. And I had to step away from a lot of my hobbies and things like that. And so I stepped away for a while, and he got older, his brother got older. I went back in and I was sort of like, hey, let me try and play a game. I want to maybe I'm in a new city. I'll go to the game store. And I watched a 4th edition game, started to play a little bit. I was like, that's how I ended up in the Vampire the Masquerade group.
Shit.
Damn.
And I was like, no. And then later on, when 5e came out, and when DM Liam from the Pyro Club said, "Hey, let's try the new edition out," I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I guess."
Yeah.
And I fell right into it, and I was happy. But 4th edition, and I'm a graph paper guy from the old days.
Same.
Yep.
No, nope.
Yeah, it was not
It was
good.
it was WoW. It was WoW. It was the tactical hex mini map thing. It was just too much.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was it I wish I had known about Pathfinder
Mhm.
before jumping into fourth edition, I guess.
Mhm.
I played
Same.
3.5. I like 3.5.
Yep.
I didn't know much about the RPGs, like the world of role playing games. I just knew, oh, D&D, Rifts, and like I had a small bubble. So had I known about Pathfinder, I probably would have just said, "Hey, let's move our game from 3.5 to Pathfinder."
Yeah.
And it would have been fine. And I think and I think I would have been playing Pathfinder to this day
Yeah. No,
instead of
I
fourth
can see
edition.
that.
Yeah.
I will jump a little bit out of order to build on that though, because one of the games that I loved for the concept of and did that is Starfinder.
Yes.
Look at the size of this damn book. The flaw I had with Starfinder is it took Pathfinder a little too literally, and it was a very slow moving game.
Yep,
They
I've heard that.
fixed that in second.
They
I've
did,
heard they
and
fixed.
I
Yeah.
can't wait. I can't wait to try the second edition once it's released.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
Pathfinder 2 smoothed out a lot of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Super happy with that. Can't
Yep.
wait for that because I love this. I had a big lizard with the super laser axe that her thing was she turned on dubstep. So I played some dubstep music as combat music. You know, I had the whole thing, but it was just so plodding.
Yeah.
But I love it, but at the same time,
Yeah.
kind of the same thing.
I do really quick. Speaking of Starfinder, um, I do love that at Gen Con they will do a huge campaign for both Starfinder and Pathfinder
Hmm.
on certain days. So like I think it's Friday night they do like a big world driven uh Pathfinder event where each table is part of the main story. So there's each GM reports to like the
Yeah.
main GM, and he tells the story as things go on. It's the same for Pathfinder, Starfinder, but it's each GM is responsible for the ship,
Hmm.
and they're going through different parts of the galaxy, and how the game goes affects the larger story. I love that. I am so happy to see them do that.
That's one of the that is one of the things that will eventually get me to a Gen Con. Well, is to
Yes.
watch that.
Yeah. Even if you walk in there and you see um the Pathfinder characters, like the original characters that you see in the Pathfinder book,
Hmm.
it almost feels like a temple because they
Yeah.
have large banners of them. And I'm
Yep.
just like, that is so cool. Like uh I kind of wish Wizards had like characters like that um in
They
their books.
kind of do now.
Now, yeah, I think it's like because you can find the Dragonlance and
Right.
Drits and
Yeah.
all that in the books now. But yeah, I get what
And
you're saying.
Right.
PAX, they did a similar thing for acquisitions. They had
Okay.
like an acquisitions temple when you went in for the Friday. It was a Friday night game. Things like that. But no, I get what you're saying though, because that absolutely is, I think,
Like
missing.
I I remember my god, I keep forgetting. Paizo was teasing that those characters uh what's the one that does the big box Kingdom Death, that the
Oh,
people that Kingdom Death was going to do the miniatures
no
uh
kidding.
for Pathfinder, and they teased it, and I don't know if it fell through or whatever. I was waiting like on bated breath
Yeah.
for that because I was like, oh yes, if they just do those miniatures that way, I will buy those in a heartbeat. That was,
Hmm.
and I don't think they ever did. I think they just kept it to just the small little, tabletop miniatures. So yeah, but Paizo has gone a long way. That's
Yeah.
compared to fourth edition, which has left a bad aftertaste in my mouth. Uh, 17 years later, because
Uh-huh.
my daughter was born when fourth edition was. I was playing fourth edition. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and you'll see that in the communities too. No matter whether it's not obviously not the newest 5e generation, but
Hmm.
people that went with my red box here all the way through, or jumped in the early 2000s, there is absolutely a love hate. There is no in between for fourth
No.
edition,
No, yeah.
and it definitely balances towards the hate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That scale is definitely
Yeah.
not an even balance.
Yeah. I think that lasted. I think it probably lasted 1 year less than their standard D&D editions that they normally like.
Yeah, because
They normally
2015 was fifth, if I remember correctly.
Yes, yeah, and it took 9 years for them to tweak it
Hmm.
because they got a lot of hate for saying, oh well, we're gonna change it to D&D 1 or whatever it was. So yeah, that big fiasco. But if it wasn't for that fiasco, we would not have gotten a lot of different um
hmm
different versions, different game systems out there. So
Yeah, and while some of them are hits, some of them are misses, a couple of them are horrific misses. I'm glad they're there though, because it's throwing all this variety into the sphere.
I am a little disappointed of Tales of the Valiant.
Mm,
While I love the book, I am not. It was touted as, oh, if you like D&D, here's something new, and it really wasn't that new.
yeah.
No, it wasn't.
It was just a different version of D&D,
hmm
I guess. And I was like, okay, cool. I bought the books. I like the books. Um, but
And I am a huge Cobalt Press fan. Half of the stuff
yes.
I've run have been out of Zobek, have been out of the Southlands. I
Hmm.
love the world. I love all the stuff they do, and they're creative as hell. Um,
I
I
love
don't
Midgard.
mind it. I don't mind it, but yes, it was kind of a letdown compared to what it could have been.
Right. Like I love Midgard,
Uh-huh.
but Midgard is just 5e. It's just a 5e world.
Yeah.
And Tales of the Valiant, while it is not a 5e per se world, it can be transformed into a 5e world.
hmm
And so it's like, this whole promise of it's not 5e, it really is 5e. And they
Yeah.
once they knew that they were going to change it up, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll step off. I'll step off my soapbox now, Gonzo. Thank you.
It's all right. One of the ones I wanted to go, 'cause I do have a couple of media things I want to talk about. There was a game, and it came out. It was in French first, and then it came in on Fantasy Flight. Got it and produced it and changed it to English. Was Anima Worlds Beyond. Uh,
Yes.
Very very cool world, very cool characters, very cool
Mm-hmm.
information. Everything was great about it. I mean, if you wanted to play Final Fantasy and have you wanted to summon deities as pets and all this other stuff, it was a really really cool world, but the system was not good, and I was really upset with it
No.
because I bought the books and I thought it was going to do really well, and I thought it was going to continue, but they brought out just a few books and went into it. But it's really cool. The books are kind of hard to get now, but if you can get a copy of Anima, I suggest it. Slade, I as a collector,
hmm
I do suggest getting it, just to have it. See, yeah, Beyond Fantasy. It's not Beyond World. Beyond Fantasy.
Okay.
The artwork is really good.
Yeah.
The artwork was
Oh,
really, really good.
I will be drawn in with good artwork.
Oh,
That's like
But
I've never played a Grim Hollow game. I probably won't play a Grim Hollow game. I will read that book back and forth 100 times though, because that art, man, I love that art.
oh, you need to pick up Shadows of Estrin then,
I don't know. I might.
because if not, that one, if you were to say it's a French game and it's like a fantasy, it's like Call of Cthulhu meets Game of Thrones.
Okay.
But the art in that, and I met the developers and had them sign a couple of my books. It was the book on that. The art in that
Oh,
book is
it's Celtic myth. It's Celtic myth. Hell yeah,
yeah.
I'm in. I don't. I all I had to do was see the banner on their website and drawn from Celtic myth. Yeah, okay, I'm there. Good.
Yeah, Shadows of Esther. If you like good artwork, I mean, literally, it's gorgeous on the interior. It's really, really good. I don't think I'd ever run it again. It just people just couldn't get into it, but it is, grab that book if you like artwork, because that thing is just chef's kiss. Slade, do you have any other ones that you wanted to bring up or anything that came in?
The only other thing that, and it isn't a specific system. It is more on some of. I and a couple friends of mine have been diving into solo RPGs.
That's becoming a pretty big thing nowadays.
And there are some like Ironlands, Ironsworn, I forget the space one. They're a lot of fun. They're good. They're well done, and it helps you build out a story. There are some though that require journaling and a lot of stuff like that, and I don't find that it draws me in. Those particular kinds of mechanics. If you have an oracle, which is basically a set of tables or something that puts, brings little RNGs to your table, that's great. And a good improvisation around some of those things is really good and can be fun. There's a lot though that are, the exception being 1,000-Year-Old Vampire, because that was the first one I tried and that was a lot of fun. That's a great game. It's a good one that's an airplane game too. Like if you're sitting on the plane and you have a little notebook, fantastic. Others, no, it's just that particular mechanism is not a role play for me. It's a creative writing exercise, which becomes less of a game.
And more like an English assignment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, man, now I got to double space this and
yeah. Oh God, is this an M dash or a hyphen? I don't even know.
Right. Like it's like, wait, did I indent? What's my bibliography on this? Like,
right.
No.
Right.
No.
Yeah, that one's become a little
citing the proper sources. That could be an awesome RPG. I'm sorry, that's an awesome RPG.
But I will say there are some like 1,000-Year-Old Vampire is fun. It is a little bit journaling, but it's also so as you age, you get new things, but you have to forget some of the old things you have. So you have to pick what you're dropping out of your memory and your skills and things like that. What you lose to continue on. So that's fun. That's a great element.
I wish I could
some
do
of
that
the
in
others
real
though.
Life.
That's what therapy's for.
Nestor, do you have any other ones?
I just want to honorable mention the Infinity RPG. Infinity the game. I could never get past character creation in Infinity the RPG, and you know me, I love Infinity the game. I love playing the game. I love talking about the lore. I love the miniatures. I love the company. The RPG Modifius took so long to produce it.
Yep.
Because, and it's not their fault. They just unlocked so many things on the Kickstarter that it was like, I think they could have just like now you're seeing Kickstarters that they say if we get $100,000, dollars, we will. It's unlocked. If we reach 110,000, and they have all these whatever it's called, the add-ons.
Yeah.
But the Infinity one kept growing so much that they kept creating books that they had no reason creating.
Yeah. The stretch goals. I actually backed that one too, and all I did was back it in the basic sense, one of the basic packages, and I was like, "Where's my books, guys?" And it was like, "Well, I'm like, no, all I had was the core rule book and like the miniature, and that was it."
Yeah, right. I was like, I get it. But now it's like, hey, we're gonna if it's $100,000, and then every $10,000 we'll do an add-on or a little, stretch goal or whatever. But then that's it after a certain amount. Like you don't get anything else after say $200,000, $300,000.
Yeah. The rest
Because
goes
then it
into
becomes
creating better art or
create
creating a better book.
Yeah. Yep.
Who did that? Dagger, no, not Daggerheart. Somebody did that.
Trench Crusade did.
Where French Crusade, yes. It's like, hey, if we get $150,000, we can upgrade to embroidered lettering on the cover,
Yeah.
right? That is not changing how long my book is going. The main book is going to be.
Yeah.
That's physical. That's the physical binding of the book. Oh, we're going to add, you know, a cloth bookmark. Oh, we'll add a second cloth bookmark, or we'll add a third. That's fine. Stop at 3. We don't need more cloth bookmarks. That's what post-it notes are for. Like honestly, like old game masters and old players and old people that just do that have post-it notes that we put on the side, and that's it.
Yeah, I am happy to see that there are people learning from that mistake though, and not putting 100 stretch goals on building out the system further. I just realized I have these are Steve Conley's books about, his custom classes, death dealing, which is a rogue that has a deck of cards that is a rogue deck of many things, and it's a great little system. His stretch goals were things like a mini, the card deck itself, and that sort of thing, building a lot of those things out. And I'm really glad to see more people doing things like that, a play mat. Cool, great. I deliberately did not back several systems because that was the thing. The stretch goals were, we're going to add this book, or we'll add 6 extra classes. I'm like,
like
why are you doing that? Why?
Like, so while I don't blame Modifius,
No,
because at the time that was the way it was, the Kickstarter was done. The game itself, I love the game. The fact is that I had all the books that they, whatever I think it was like $200, and it gave you the main rule book, the whatever else, and the miniatures, and I was happy with that.
Yep.
But it took a year, I think a year and a half, 2 years to even get the core rule book, because they were so delayed on doing all the other books.
Yeah.
Which you didn't need to do right then and there.
Yep. I mean, it's one thing if you're doing a line of miniatures. Great. You can have stretch goals that add new miniatures in or something like that. It doesn't work with the books, however. It doesn't work with the systems.
Yep.
Yeah. But the system itself is not. This is a very ugly thing. The system itself is not the easiest thing to learn. It is, while the world and the lore is great, again, the system is convoluted, it's bulky, it's not quick. Compared to, I don't know, Fallout, same company, but obviously different writers. They don't use the same system. But Fallout, you build your character in like 20-30 minutes, and if it dies that same game, you build another one, and that's it.
And Fallout lends itself well to quick pre-gens too, and easy to pick up pre-gens.
Yes.
Which is one of the things I love about it. Yep.
Pencil and paper, done. Yep.
Yeah, that was when I got it. It the same thing. I was like, "What the heck? Why is this taking so?" Yeah, no.
Yep. So okay, I'm off my soapbox. I'm done.
You've got like this Olympic pedestal thing of soapboxes you've got tonight.
I've gotten like, first I started slow, and then it was like, oh,
you ramped on up.
It's like, shit, we're gonna do this right.
I wanted to get we only got about 5 or so minutes left, but I wanted to give media section, because I actually started watching a few shows and getting a few things, and I had to take some time. I did start up the newest season of The Witcher. I'm only like 1 episode in, so I'm just waiting. But this week I've been waiting for this new series to come out, because not like I'm a huge Stephen King fan, but the It story is always intrigued me. And Welcome to Derry started up this week, and they have the first 2 episodes. And yeah, this show's good. This show was creepy as hell. It was, crazy. It was fun. It was dirty. It was gross. It had some good oh shit moments going on with it. I really
first 10
dug.
minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. This is good classic horror. There wasn't a lot of jump scares for the most part. It was really, really, really good. I really like the first 2 episodes. If you like good horror, good spooky, big creepy, disgusting, I highly recommend it. I'm having a blast with it.
I was just finishing the second episode when you messaged me, Gonzo. Maybe I should go ahead and join the podcast today. And I got lost because it was like the last 10 minutes of it, which I'll finish tonight. But oh man, it really put the word to fuck them kids. Like oh my god, it's like yeah.
I haven't started it yet, but one of the things I'm really looking forward to is, what the producers said they're going to dive into a lot of the surrounding lore.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because King, when he wrote it, left it very wide open.
Oh,
What
yeah.
actually is Pennywise? It doesn't matter. I'm not going to tell you. But they're going to dive into the lore. They're going to dive into a whole bunch of other stuff, and that's something I'm really looking forward to, because I read that and The Stand, and damn, that's when I was hooked. Is reading those, and I was all in on Stephen King. So,
and the book I'm reading now, Insomnia, takes place in Derry.
Excellent book.
It's I'm up to like the last part of it, the last 3 hours of the audiobook, and I'm a sucker for the Dark Tower and the world of it, like Derry, Maine. And this one also touches on Pet Cemetery.
Yeah.
And like all of it. And I'm just like hooked in. It's like
I really, really liked reading it. That's one of I definitely loved reading that one. So yeah.
Another one I watched because it actually came on and it was there because while I was watching Welcome to Derry, it says, hey, this is now on HBO Max, was Weapons. Weapons is a movie about something happens to kids in the middle of the night and they disappear and nobody knows and they go to solve it. Yeah, I wasn't impressed with it. Everybody said that this show was like freaking amazing as hell, and I really wasn't that impressed, especially the ending. I think the ending was just completely blown out, and I was not impressed at all. I was like, really? I didn't like the way that it was produced, the way the story unfolded, by like naming characters and all this other stuff. It didn't flow very well, in my opinion. Story wise, yeah, it was okay, the premise of the story, but for the most part, it's just like, yeah, I think a lot of people just overhyped this. So, not on my top of my list. I do have a lot of other things to watch, so I'll be getting into that. Any of y'all got any media sections? We got about 2 minutes left, and then we gotta get out of here because Slade has like 7 new RPG games he has to be prepared for.
Like for tomorrow.
For tomorrow.
Yeah, that's not too far off. So I fell behind. I am getting back into the new season of Alice in Borderlands.
I finished that.
The werewolf style game, I think was really, really good. And I don't want to say more than that because I want people to watch the show. And I am definitely getting into that. And I also started after a rewatch, and I started watching the new season of Fubar. If you haven't seen Fubar on Netflix, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a veteran about to retire CIA agent who finds out that the life he's been hiding from his family, his daughter is actually part of it, a CIA agent too, and they come across each other on a mission, and then the story evolves from there. I got into it because I know one of the actors. I really, really like it. It is campy, it is goofy, it is dumb, but it is perfect for what it is. It is,
Yeah. It's not trying to be
those
more than
seasons.
anything else.
No, those seasons of Supernatural that were, you had the Leviathan seasons, which were, oh, stop taking yourself so seriously.
Yeah.
And then the goofy ones with the hand, with Mike Farrell doing the Acme cartoon physics. You know, that's what this is that kind of, we're going to have fun with this and just enjoy the ride. And damn, it's good. I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah, I've seen season 1 and season 2, and they weren't bad. It did get canceled. They're not
Yeah,
doing
I
a
heard.
third.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it did get canceled, but I did finish Alice in Borderlands also, and everything. And yeah, some of the games they played were pretty rough this time.
They are definitely amping it up in just the opening. I think I told you the opening.
Oh yeah, card game.
And the fortunes.
Yeah.
Well, the card game, but also the drawing your fortunes.
Yeah.
Like that. This is definitely shifted into a new gear, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, Alice in Borderlands I finished, and that was pretty good. Nestor, you got anything before we get out of here?
I just started rewatching Stranger Things, getting ready for the end of November. So
soon.
Yes. Me and I finished season 1. I'm halfway through season 2. I'll finish that this week and then probably start season 3 as well. I don't remember much of season 2. This is a good reason. It's a good thing to watch it. Season 3, I remember vividly because of the mall scene and the way it ended with Max and her brother and that. And then season 4 was just, I don't know. I dislike 4 except for Eddie and the Hellfire Club and all of that D&D, and Erica. Like, her character came out very well, but there's a lot of parts of 4 that I was kind of cringy on. Like, why is this dragging so much?
I liked how Max developed in 4.
Yes, but I disliked what happened to her. It
Yeah.
really hurt. But again, that's how you're vested in the characters.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Like we only met Eddie for that season, and people immediately fell in love with him. Like,
oh yeah,
and you see why, and that's, you see Max season 2, and I was like, I like Max. I liked Max from season 2. I liked Max in season 3, and I definitely liked Max in season 4. But like, I'm waiting for the end. It's like, let's go. Let's go already. I'm done.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that the Eddie, you talk about Eddie. There were so many Halloween things I saw online or even around my city, which had like the hovering Max tableaus were really cool. But it was Max, it was Eddie, and I saw a really great Vecna costume. So that's still holding right now as a leader.
Yep.
That's a sign of something really well done.
Yeah. And Wizards just released
Yeah.
the Hellfire Club box set for D&D. And I was just thinking about getting it for my daughter because she loves Stranger Things, but seeing that season got her into wanting to play D&D with me.
A lot of folks got into that.
Because she has her Hellfire Club shirt, and she's ready, she's vested, and she keeps saying, "Oh, I want to play, I want to play, I want to play." But every time I say, "Hey, I'm gonna run a D&D game," "Oh, I'm busy," like every teenager. But like, I know she's gonna, like, if I give her that box before she goes to college, she's gonna end up playing with her friends in college.
Look, I've got my Ride the Lightning CD. You have to play.
Yep. Like, here's right.
Or Masters of Puppets.
Yep, Master of Puppets. Yep, from from Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm done.
All right, guys, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you watching. This week, just so you know, this 6th, we will have our Veil of the Lost episode. Everybody has confirmed, and we will have our not Veil of the Lost, Rebirth of Souls. Excuse me.
They're like, who's also on our night? What the hell?
Rebirth of Souls will be on the 6th. Our Veil of the
double
Lost.
booked.
Our Veil of the Lost will be on in December. We had to take a small break in November for Veil of the Lost, but Rebirth will be the 6th. Of course, this is going to be a strange time for us for role playing because, of course, we have all the holidays coming up in wintertime. So just be prepared that some of that stuff, and also episodes, we will be going to Warfare Weekend, and then we have Thanksgiving weekend and some other things coming up, and Christmas weekends and such. So we'll have some episodes missed, but no big deal. We'll come back to it like normal, like we always do. But we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you watching. Make sure you check out all other things. We've got plenty of episodes that you can watch and listen to. You can also jump in Discord. We're always in there, playing video games or just hanging out in our Hangout channel. And if you just need someone to sit and just hang out with you, we're more than welcome to do that too. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm Nessie.
And I'm Slade.
Please take care of yourself. Good night.
Good night.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for listening to More Than Dice, making the world a better, nerdier place, one dumb joke at a time. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more nerdy action or to connect with your hosts, check them out on Facebook.com/morethandice and Twitch.tv/more_than_dice. Until next time, stay nerdy, stay proud, and we'll see you soon on the More Than Dice podcast.